Hello, good morning. Just worked out and I got a few groceries. Need to run my shower. Today's gonna be a busy day. I have a meeting regarding like the future of my business and just like things that we're going to stop so that I can focus more on what I want to, which is like podcasts and long form content. Then I have a facial, which I kind of regret booking for today because it's just like not the day that I want to do this. Like a lot going on. I don't really, whatever. I didn't plan that at the time. I've had this bra before anyone asks since like 2017, so I don't know where it's from. But yeah, I got some groceries. So firstly, this cereal looked cool. It's this like, I'm not keto, but keto cereals usually have better ingredients in terms of like satiety and just not being full of shit. So I got this Nature's Path organic cinnamon keto cereal. I'm a big cinnamon person, so I was like, cinnamon toast, okay, like we're down. It's vegan, like I'll try it out. I'll try out weird shit, basically. So I'm gonna put that away. Got some kale, as always, because I put kale in pretty much everything. Basil, I'm a basil fan. 2 bananas that are not yet ripe, so I will be saving them. Frozen raspberries that I think melted a little bit, but it's fine. I put the heavy things in my backpack so I don't have to carry them. Oh, I got some omega-3. I'm out of omega-3, so I just get the one I always get from Whole Foods. It's this IWI omega-3. I don't know what else to call it. It's just like IWI omega-3. This is the box. I get it at Whole Foods. Vegan, carrots, because carrots, best vegetable of all time. I still have some Brussels sprouts, so I don't need those. I don't think my La Colombe shipment is going to come in time, so I have 2 La Colombes. I think it's a little bit delayed. And then just kitchen trash bags. That's basically it. So going to go, I found 50 dirhams in my, I thought I got rid of all my dirhams, but this is UAE money, dirhams. It's really pretty. Like, I just carry them because for some things there you need cash. Not usually, they accept like all major credit cards, but similar to here, some places just are like cash only, even though most are like beyond more contact-free friendly than here. So going to shower, finish listening to the Joe Rogan podcast I started last night, and then get on with the day. I mentioned you in my New York favorites, so everyone knows I get my facials here. So like, most people aren't from New York, you're not gonna get like 1,000 new people, but like people that want a good facial. Like, do you want to be in my video?
Okay, so let's see what
This is Maren. She does let me make sure it's focused on you. She does the best facials in literally all of Manhattan. I'm obsessed with her and I cannot recommend her enough. So like if you need your skin to be even more beautiful than it already is, come to her. Like it's just, just my favorite thing to come in here and come out and just be glowing. So yeah. All done. Can't really see this lighting, but it's cute. Back from coffee, which like it was with one of the people that I work with, and we're on really good terms because like, I'm sorry I said like twice. I'm trying very hard not to say like too many times, even though usually when I'm saying it, it is to describe that something is resembling something. Anyway, I'm just tired of the comments hating on me for that. But we talked and it was really good timing that I wanted to downsize the business and membership and kind of my personal brand side of things and maximize the projects I'm working on and the content I'm putting out just for free and really maximize on that because I feel more passionate about that. And at the same time, like this person was interested in growing their own, like starting their own kind of media journey. So it worked very well because they were thinking about taking off anyway, doing their own thing instead of working for me. And so everything just collided very well to where it feels like a sigh of relief to, yes, let go of like something that something I built up, my brand, my business, but will still be there in the background and will have like automated, but will not be the focus of new things developing because I'm building things in crypto now that are much more important that I'd rather put my capital towards that. So same page, and then getting a facial, Maren is like the cutest. So that was so adorable. I got a smoothie on the way back. This is the fucking genius blueberry smoothie. It has protein in it and shit. And I tried this cereal and it's really good. So I don't know if I am crazy, but I feel like putting cereal in my smoothie and like eating it. So we're gonna do that. I don't know, I don't ever do that because I usually make smoothie bowls, but I was like, I should have asked for this thicker and just done it that way. Actually really good. I might like it more than Catalina Crunch, if I'm honest. They're just different. They're different. Oh shit. Oh my god, that was really stupid of me. Maybe I should put this in a bowl. Okay, there we go. This would have been smart from the get-go. But you live, you learn. And then I'm putting cacao nibs on this. This is like a soup basically, but it's fine. It's fun. It's life. Afternoon snack. I have meant to sit down and like talk and like film through this vlog, but I've had such a good trading day, just like when your mental health is getting better and it's on point. And I mean, like today, after having discussions and changing my business plan and like knowing that I'm gonna stop doing some things that for a few months felt like energetic drains, like I could not, I don't know, house a membership community when I myself am like not, like I need to focus on, I don't know, my own things for now. Like it feels kind of good to like that off my shoulders, knowing that that'll be, you know, tying up. And my trades have been so on point. It's not just because it's an up market. Like it's really not in some aspects, like some coins are, but like I've been killing it. Like I've been in and out of trades. Like I just opened, or I didn't just open, but like these are my current trades right now, just like small profits on the bottom too. And then my render trade, which is low leverage, but it's still like big enough size to where it has a sizable profit. Like I'm hitting my profits for today. Like I've definitely been nailing these trades, even though now I'm trading with less of a stack because I had to dive into it a little bit. I was like, for my property payment, I basically just like took a slice off of a lot of positions so that I wouldn't really impact my overall portfolio. But like, look at this. I've been in and out of render, so excuse all of the lines. We are about to hit. So I want to talk about like, I don't know, I've just been thinking today, I've been really philosophical about advice for young people basically. And I want to talk about it, but I need to finish my trades. So like, give me a couple minutes. Okay, I was gonna sit down and do this, but it's getting really late because I've been working like a fuck ton. And still meant to get into, I talked about DeFi Kingdoms in my last video, and I just had a call with someone on the team, and I gave them like an astrology consult. I do that for like friends in the space. I don't really offer them to the public. But, like, I need to get on DeFi Kingdoms because I'm so bullish on the project. I can't even believe I keep talking about them. Like, I don't talk about projects because I'm scared about promoting a scam, but this is clearly not a scam. And so I wanted to talk about, like, I've been thinking today about how, like, for example, in, like, closing a certain chapter of my business to focus on something that I think is more scalable and more, like, what I'm passionate about, which would be, like, long-form podcast content or, like, long-form research pieces. Like that's where I want to allocate my time, even if it means like, I don't know, less. Like I feel like overall that will cater to more people, but even if it means in the short term I have to let go of something I did like with like membership community and things like that. I was just thinking about like what I would want my younger self to know. Like just, it felt like a very mature decision. Like closing an aspect of a business to focus on something else, trying to work up the courage to ask certain people on my podcast because I feel very imposter syndrome-y. Like, in a way, I'm like, who the fuck wants to talk to me? But then sometimes I'm like, who wouldn't want to talk to me? But I have to convince them to talk to me. So I have, like, certain people that I really want in the crypto space, but I want it to be more like a Joe Rogan. I think I'm at a space in an intersection right now where, like, I can have on a multitude of types of guests as long as they're interesting. But I don't have that many people where I'm like, I want to see them on a podcast. I just listen to a podcast because I admire the host. So it is a little weird for me now because I don't know who to ask. Like, I don't know. I have many ideas. So do let me know. Like, let me know in a comment if there's anyone you would like to see me talk to that is not like an insane reach. But I was just thinking about like advice I would want to tell my younger self, especially I'm thinking around my 18-year-old self. My 18-year-old self who, there's a Taylor Swift line and it's like know so much at 18 and so little at 23, I think it is, or maybe it's a different age, but the number one thing actually is that I would be very cautious, and which is ironic because little about being 18 has anyone being cautious, but I would be cautious around attaching to political or activist identities. I say that only because often when we gain perspective, we see how when things group together, they become distorted. I think it's in the way that a lot of young people end up growing up and leaning to the left, and then as you get older, you might see that corporate interest kind of clouds that, and then can make it uncomfortable to be associated with that simply due to how money is affecting the way in which the messaging is affecting young people. like a lot of well-meaning groups then turn into like crony kind of corporate like shills in a way. I'm not going to get too into that in this video just because it's not the focus, but I mean, I can talk about it more if you want with like my own realizations of how a lot of what people are powered by with activism is actually just like corporate interest infiltrating news and panic and whatever. If you know, you know. But I would say to explore and entertain different movements without attaching any to your identity, because it will become, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it gets uncomfortable the older you get, and the more that you want to shake one of those identities, and the more that you're like, wait, shit, I was loyal to that when I was younger. Like how I didn't realize that economically, I don't think leftism is a good preservation or a good like long-term way to run an economy. I think that well-meaning but naive individuals can press that agenda without realizing that often that leads to really big harm in the long term. And so number one, I'd say if you're a young person, be careful about the movements that you attach yourself to, because you might change the way in which those values manifest. It might get more nuanced. You might have the same values, but you understand a clearer path. The second major thing, now that my gas is running and making it so fucking loud, I'm gonna withdraw this. I'm using BINANCE US to bridge some stuff over from BSC so I can trade with it. So I'm gonna talk while I do this. But the next thing that I think that people should consider that are young people is traveling internationally. I do think that international travel is one of the best, and put in this code 1 second. Let me get deep in a second. Confirm withdrawal request of this USDT. Woo! My render long was hit. Dope. Let me screenshot this and put it in my Telegram group. I have a Telegram group for all my trade calls, by the way, so you can always know what I'm doing. So, as I was saying, after I re-entered another long on render because just gonna make it through that. The other thing that I recommend for young people is to travel internationally. Like, having to grow in another culture, even just briefly, like if it's a summer trip. I mean, I studied every summer in Spain. Okay, I'm gonna cut up onions and start cooking while I talk about this. I studied every summer in Spain as a teenager, and I can say that that was honestly probably one of the biggest easy maturation experiences in my life. And what I mean by easy maturation is if you're on a trip and you love it and you like the culture, or at least you're having fun, but you're also growing through the contrast, just the amount of emotional maturity that you grow with that is insane, because it's so easy to get caught up in bullshit when you're in high school and you're comparing just bullshit. Like the microcosm of bullshit that happens when people are stagnant in a group is petty. But when you're traveling, that's just innately more serious, and you're going to be more aware of your surroundings and have to grow up and still have fun at the same time than if you're just bullshitting. International travel in particular, because international travel, especially if there's a language barrier that's workable, like you're in Spain learning Spanish or you are learning Mandarin, like if you're in a place where you're either learning the language or, I don't speak Portuguese, but Lisbon was fine because Lisbon is, very English friendly for the most part. That kind of thing I find very, very healthy for emotional growth. Just highly recommend international travel. I just mean in general will have you mature and have you grow up in a way that you're probably going to be proud of, if that makes sense. I also think the world right now is suffering from an extreme neuroticism epidemic that I am more concerned with than fucking moronic, whatever, just Jesus Christ, like New York is just neurotic. I can't. It started out with like, yes, I want to help everyone out, and yes, I will abide, and let's see what happens, to the point where I just find beyond, I'm just gonna be honest, beyond overreaction right now. I'm not saying don't take precautions, do what makes you feel comfortable, etc., but like, Jesus Christ, we just have a mismanagement and neuroticism epidemic is what's really happening right now. I was gonna split this onion in half, but it's a baby onion, so I'm just gonna do the whole thing. And I say that with like compassion and love, and I know people like very affected by everything as well. I'm just saying from a logical, holistic point of view, Jesus Christ. So again, I'm talking about travel in a hypothetical sense when you feel comfortable, are able to, etc. And I think if I can just recommend anything do this as a positive recommendation, not a negative one in terms of what not to do, I'd say travel internationally is really important, and do it like, I don't know, look at your astrocartography. I'd recommend that as well, And another thing, because I wrote notes while I was like trading earlier. Let me check on my trade actually. I want to see this. Slowed down a bit on my render long, but it's fine. Another thing I'd tell you is that this is not something I struggled with or that I learned necessarily. It's just something that in hindsight I'm glad I did, which is not really listen to the news. I didn't grow up really caring about the news. My mom listened to it. I never really could get into it. And then I found out during like the pandemic when I started listening to the New York Times, I could then see like the adrenaline addiction, I guess, to news and insanity that people have. I would say like keep up with world events. You'll probably hear about them on social media, and look for independent journalists and look for a wide variety of them. I really like Tim Pool, and people that criticize me for that often are misrepresenting him largely in the way that he makes fun of people for misrepresenting him as. Like, people misrepresent him as, like, alt-right or whatever when he's literally a libertarian. Like, he's very, like, left libertarian. And like, it's just very obvious that people misrepresent him willingly because he does very good journalistic work, and that bothers people. But he's one of the independent journalists I love. There's some other people as well, but look for independent journalists that differ and are a little bit not one side or the other. Like, Tim is clearly not on one side of any issue. He really looks at things nuanced, and he would be a dream to have on the podcast as well because I respect him a lot. I really appreciate his journalism, so just, I'd say avoid watching the news and get a wide variety of independent journalists. You can honestly find them on Twitter. Like, there's plenty on Twitter of independent journalists. Another thing is that this is obvious, but surround yourself with people that you want to emulate. I think of myself as always wanting to have friends that are Jedis and I'm a Padawan. And when I find myself surrounded by people where I feel like it doesn't have to be that they are better than you or anything like that. Like, you can teach each other, you can want to emulate each other. But when I find myself in a position where there's blatantly a difference in like the speed in which we're progressing in life, like I guess you can say the people that a few videos ago, like it made sense, and it not in that it made sense in hindsight, but like, if you want to surround yourself with people that you're energetically trying to strive towards, and that could be both of you striving towards one another in different ways, but you don't want to be stooping down to anyone else's vibrational level, and that can mean just slowly distancing yourself or outright if the universe slaps you in the face and is like, you need to move on. But look towards being with people that you want to emulate. That's something that I valued in my life, but that I can recommend to others. And then another obvious one is that even if you're young and like in high school, I would recommend starting to save and invest just a little. I know that I did this with a few $100s with my astrology readings I gave in high school, and just getting in the mindset of wanting to build up your money reserves to let your money work for you one day and invest it is important. Like, think of your money as a fire, and you want to have the biggest, warmest fire you can, and you want to sustainably grow that. So even if you're young and it's literally $50 a week or something like that, just, yeah, I'd recommend starting to save. And then if you're maybe 16, 17, 18, you look into investing. I'm not gonna give any recommendations here necessarily, but if you do want a full video on like how to invest as a young person, do let me know, because it's about keeping a fire burning, not having it explode and get into a risky asset that you don't know how to manage, but also if you can take on a bit more risk and you can do, and like you are someone who, like me, you're willing to do things in a way that is a bit more intensive and risk on, you could consider doing that. So that's a little thing that I would, think about, consider when it comes to things I want as a young person. Don't attach to political or activism movements if they feel unaligned. Don't force yourself to do that. Second thing is travel internationally for long periods of time if you can. Study, live there as a local. Third thing is be careful of news, and I'd recommend independent journalism. And fourth thing, go for friends that you admire and would want to emulate. Fifth thing is save, invest. I'm also cooking vegetables, pasta, and a mug cake, which I hadn't made a mug cake in a while, so I'm still like figuring out what the recipe I used to use was. I'm gonna even out the top of this a little bit and then stick this in the oven while I eat my dinner. But if the recipe is on point, I'll show you tomorrow. For now, it's oats blended into a flour with chocolate protein. I use the Swerve, like this sweetener. Cinnamon, that protein powder is the one I used, and a little bit of almond milk, and baking powder, and lemon. This is onions, carrots, garlic, tomato sauce, cauliflower, lentil, protein pasta, and some kale. I am just all cooking down. Right, this is it plated with basil, mustard, truffle hot sauce, and let's add some nooch. So let me take a picture of this before. Also, let's get some chili lime seasoning on this. And some everything but the bagel. Let's do it. Amazing. There we go. Phenomenal, phenomenal looking meal, in my opinion. Mug cake turned out as planned. I have a little like almond butter frosting I think I'm gonna do. Let's try to set this up. It's really hot still, unfortunately. I have like almond butter, cinnamon, almond milk, little frosting situation. Should be promising. This is not as cute as I thought it would be, but like, we tried. Okay, throw on some cacao nibs, and this is the mug cake situation. No complaints, pretty cute. Anyway, that's all for me today. I hope this video was helpful. I didn't know going into it what I would be doing, but I think I got something out of it. And I think tomorrow actually would be my last video, which is crazy, but I'll be back to vlogging like when I redo my apartment, and then when I am in London, I know I'll vlog that. So till next time, we'll see you then.